500-pound weights, and this is what a good plan gets you. You see how they're just scattered randomly about, so they're all difficult to pick up? Perfect, that's what we wanted. 2 passes of 60-11, and then a pass of 70-18 on top of it. She's not the prettiest, but I bet she'll do the job. Hitch tube, in case you're not putting that together. I feel like you probably had that figured out though. So now we have the really fun task. See how this is existing? See that? See how that's a thing? See how whenever Oliver Tractor poured these cast counterweights, they forgot to leave a sleeve for my hitch? It's wild, I know. Anyway, we got to make one. Can't use a torch on cast. It just pushes the puddle around, doesn't really do much. You got to cut it and break it. It's miserable, I'm not gonna lie, it's awful. I've done it for some other counterweights. I hate it, but it's gonna be the strongest way. It's gonna be the strongest way for me to get a hitch on here and still have the counterweights where they need to be. So I'm gonna do a quick measurement. That way we can measure once and cut 7 times. A little room, you know. No reason to make it a super crazy tight fit. Oh, that's fun. We got a little rain. Oh, how you doing? There you are. We got a little rain going on right now, which is fine because we're drought. We're drought conditions, and it has been very dry. So we're not gonna complain about that by any means. We got the old mobile shop set up. It's a tent, in case you didn't figure that out. And let's go ahead and do a little paint work on this pin. Rain's not supposed to last long, and we can get back to cutting our counterweight. So that's where we're at right now. Quick update. The goal is to get as deep as we can with the cutoff wheels and then set up on some blocks and just whack it with a hammer real hard and hope we can just bust it out the bottom. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm gonna take a little break. Go give the grinder a break too. She's getting roasty toasty. I went to buy a 7-inch grinder last night at one of our local tractor stores. They only had half of what I needed. They had the grinder. They had no arbor nuts, they had no handles, they had no grinding wheels. They had half the package. Not super helpful, but. We're gonna hit the primer anywhere there's some bare-ish metal. And this primer does say on it, for a recoat, primers may be top coated immediately, or within the hour, or after 48 hours. Kind of a goofy window, but that's what it says. We'll go ahead and go with the immediately option. Inside of the weight box is gonna get black. When we were painting this last time, we were experimenting with some color options for the machine. That's an Alice Chalmers orange. Thought I might like it. I didn't really like it as much as I thought. We've got another idea, and we're gonna do the outside in that other idea just to test it out. But let's get this going first here. Yep. Okay. We're not going for anything fancy here. We call it the Coal Mine Special. It's kind of like Vice Grip Garage's take on his rattle can specials he does sometimes for bingo night. Similar theory. So when you're standing on the edge of the coal mine pit and you're looking down and you say, man, is that your machine? Sure is. That's a good looking machine. You know, looks good from the outside of the pit until you get up close to it. So that's what we're going for. Just the old Coal Mine Special. Nothing fancy. A little protection, a little style. It's too light. They had a bunch of different shades of this. And I was looking at the caps and I thought, man, that might be too light. Maybe I should get the darker one too, and I did not. But I don't like that at all. I like the direction I'm headed with it. That particular color is just too light. I think I want a darker green. A much darker green. With black accents, like the hitch plate and everything will be black, and then the darker green. Well, $7 experiment. Paid a lot more money for a lot weirder experiments. So we've been putting these 4.5 inch, oh 6, my bad, on the grinder there. We're getting close to where I want to start beating on it. Here's my depth. But when you can feel the heat of the grinder through the glove, probably ought to let her cool off a little bit. Let's go ahead and get the main hydraulic hoses hooked up and the linkages back on those controls. These are JIC fittings. On a JIC fitting, it is this flare right here that seals it up. So we need to make sure these are as clean as possible, and then we'll clean these threads off. Let's make hooking them up a little easier. Luckily, all of these are different sizes, so should be pretty difficult to get them mixed up. Question is, will we be able to route them where we want to route them? Because originally they went down in there, remember? Can't quite get enough rotation out of that without bending the hose. So what we'll do is we'll try to follow it where it goes, loosen up the other end, and maybe we can get the whole hose to roll around. Looks like it just loops back around and then comes right into there. I'm just going to see if I can't pull that whole thing up out of there. Yeah, Okay. Oh gosh. Oh. Okay. I was hoping to get these hooked up so we could fire everything up today, but let's take a gander down yonder at that rig. It would probably be good to just take that all the way off and then get a hose made exactly how we need. And I bet if we razzle dazzle that, she'll come right out of there. Easy peasy. Before we take that all the way off, let's mark the length with a couple zip ties, what the new hose needs to be. There we go. Okay. Yeet. All right, well, let's try the next one and see if it's got enough to get in here. Man, if we took that off, we put a 90 on that one right there like that. Or, hear me out, I just got a 90 fitting right there. I think I'm going to do the same thing. We get 90 fitting for that one too. And then we can just 90 in, 90 in, 90 in, all the way along. That one might, maybe it does go back behind there. Either way, I think that's gonna be the ticket. The new hose, these all look good enough to blow on a job site someday. And a couple 90s, I just gotta double check these sizes. I got a 16, it's too big for that. Does fit that nice. These are 12s, 12s are too small. I don't have any 14s, so I'm gonna guess that these two are 14s and that's a 16. People are also losing their minds right now because they're mad I didn't have them capped last time, and now they just learned that I had caps the whole time and I still didn't cap it last time. So that's fun. Make some notes, and I'm gonna try Discount Hydraulics, not a partnership. I just had a lot of people suggest them. I normally use my mom and pop shop if I'm in a hurry because I can just drop it off and pick it up the next day. But I'm not in a hurry for this by any means. So we'll try it out. We'll make a list of what we need. See what shows up in a few weeks. Let's see if we can go ahead and... I don't remember exactly how they went. I bet we can figure it out here. That one went like that. Just gotta get a pin for it. There we go. We will probably shorten this handle down too, because really we can take that boot off, cut that. That should be probably more than enough, but okay. I'm going to work on that for a little bit longer then. I don't think I'm even close to being far enough through to do anything, but I do know I'm pretty tired of doing this, so we're just going to beat the crap out of it with a hammer for a little bit and see what happens. So if you've been with me for a while, you're probably wondering, how come we're not using the bigger electric demolition saw that we got from Bever? Now, Dirt Perfect borrowed it a while back and said it didn't work, so I just took his word for it. Anyway, I went down and grabbed it real quick and seems to work fine. Is the blade on wrong? I think the blade's on wrong. I think that's the problem. Comes a point where fellas got to realize that this is just not the best way to do it, and we're wasting time. This thing works good until it overheats its GFI. Yeah, I only get about 20 seconds of cut, then it's got to sit for a little bit and that GFI cool off before I can fire it up again. And we just don't have the power with this little 4-inch. We're gonna end up burning that thing up. This is a 6-inch disc that I got to fit on that 7-inch disc on a 7-inch grinder. I think that's gonna be the ticket. That was the plan anyway, was to buy a 7-inch grinder. Like I said, they didn't have it. And because we've got to wait on the hydraulic hoses, so we're not gonna be firing it up anyway, not that big a deal to just wait a few days where I can get the proper tools. That being said, I don't wanna call it quits just yet today. I wanna see if we can go ahead and get our toolbox sides tacked into place here. That's going right there. Fancy technique here called burn the Achilles. Trimmed it up just a little bit. Let's see if it's any better. I made it worse. Make it worse? Might just call that drainage down there. Last thing, go ahead and get this pin fabbed up real quick. Nothing fancy. We're just going to weld a washer on one end. Let's just go 25. That's part of the machine forever now. The final answer, we'll notch that and drill a pin through. Right now, I just want to get this welded up so we can drop it down that hole, make sure everything's gonna line up the way we need it to. There we go. So that's gonna be our pin. Just enough out the bottom, we may trim it up a little more. fits right there on top, perfect. That's why we kept the toolbox over this way so we can pull that pin in the future. For whatever reason we ever need to remove those counterweights, we can do so. And then there will be a 1/2 inch plate that will go to the machine shop. We'll go bend across this, bend and bolt into those with some big beefy hooks on the back for trailer hooks. And on the back side of that plate, we'll put a little angle to help secure this end of the weights a little bit better as well. Well, there you have it. Some more progress on the old Ford 555 loader. Rainwind Park project we got, I don't know, a couple years ago. If it's your first Captain Kleeman video, you're jumping in the middle of a pretty sweet project. And if you think this is pretty cool, then I bet the video we post on Thursday you might be interested in as well. Because if you've been with Captain Kleeman channel for a while, then you'll also be excited that we'll be back on the YouTube yacht on the next video for probably several videos. Hydraulic hoses come in for this. We'll probably jump back on this, get it all buttoned up so we can actually use it and operate it and run it again. There'll probably be a Cat 304, is it back here? Yeah, it's right there. Maintenance video, getting the coupler tightened up on there, the oil changed, that top roller and some front glass replaced. They'll probably be mixed in there. And then we'll be heading down to a little dirt work job site as well. So we're gonna be back on the YouTube yacht. It may be like YouTube yacht video, backhoe, YouTube yacht 304, YouTube yacht excavation, YouTube yacht. You know what I mean? Like a YouTube yacht video once a week and then some of this other stuff we got going on. Might be something like that, but we're gonna be back on it. That's the point. The soffit came in, the siding's sitting there, and I may have found, and it's hard to believe, but I may have found a little motivation. A little. It could diminish by tomorrow, honestly. Truly could. Can't thank you guys enough for watching. Can't thank you guys enough for all the support of the channel. We're working on a drop shipping merch store right now, by the way. We used to do our own merch and I stopped doing it because it was just a pain in the butt. Didn't really have time to do it, but we finally have enough of a channel base that drop shipping companies are willing to work with us. At least a company that I feel like is reputable enough. Anyway, we'll talk about that more in the future. How about that paint? We're closer. We're getting closer to what I want. All right, then. This old skid steer is proving to be pretty dang handy. You're sitting on the skid steer. That I don't know if it